Last of Us 2 is a timely game, forcing the player to confront their own biases and perspective during one of the most divided times in world history. On the surface, it's a cautionary tale about the futility of revenge. But if you dig a little deeper, I think you find something quite a bit more substantial. And if you hang out a little bit longer, you'll go ahead and see what I really think the game is about.
I would play Office Simulator. And the plot? What is this crap? You had one of the most memorable characters of all time at your disposal, and what did you do? You killed him in the first hour. He could have found a way to stop the apocalypse, but no, not now, because he's dead.
On June 14th, 2013, Naughty Dog blessed us with The Last of Us, a third-person action-adventure survival horror game. This game had it all: engaging combat, relatable characters, some of the best-looking scenery the PS3 had to offer, and a gut-wrenching story. 7 years later, they gave us this piece of crap. The Last of Us Part 2, a walk around, find nothing, crawl on the grass, get farted on, walk around some more, find one rag, crawl around some more, Nintendog's wannabe game. When I spend the time to loot a map that you designed, I expect to be rewarded for it with a fair amount of consumables. But you know, I get it. If I had fully loaded weapons at the start of each fight, maybe it would be a little unfair. Goddamn! Oh wait, it wouldn't even matter, because as soon as you get shot once and go for a melee attack, they just shoot again, and again, and again, stun locking you into oblivion. It feels like being wall juggled by your little cousin in Tekken. And even when you do get lucky enough to land a punch, some random enemy who has been crouching behind a box for the last 5 minutes while you were looking at him finally gets the balls to shoot you in the back. And then the quick time events, or should I say quick square events. Get grabbed, spam square. Get into a wrestling match, spam square. Need to open a door? Oh, well, for that one you just hold triangle.
Don't worry, buddy.
But get trapped under a pile of rubble, spam square. And the environmental puzzles in this game consist entirely of throwing a rope and pushing a trash can. It's like a Tomb Raider fanfic written by a janitor. 7 years, and this is all you could come up with? Give me a break.
The gameplay is a high point for The Last of Us 2, perfecting the stealth versus combat balance that the first game had. The scarcity of supplies creates a fever pitch in each fight, forcing the player to use strategy to take out or avoid enemies. One complaint some people make is about the scarcity of the supplies and the lack of incentivizing loot takeaways. But if one would check the settings, they would see that they can change the scarcity or lack thereof of supplies. As for the mundane QuickTime events, I think this is something inescapable in any modern adventure game. While hardly engaging, it does keep the player paying close attention and building tension while doing things like opening doors where you don't know what's going to be on the other side. While I'm not a huge proponent for QuickTime/button holding events, I see the purpose. And one area I find them to be effective is during critical fight scenes, forcing the player to commit atrocities they may not be inclined towards. The game is not supposed to be easy, neither in gameplay nor morality. As for Joel's death, we'll get to that a little bit later on.
Congratulations, Naughty Dog. The Last of Us Part 2 does look good, but before you start celebrating, let's play a little game. Which one of these looks good? Great, now which one of these is good? No, bad dog. This one is good because it is actually fun. I know you spent 6.5 years of development animating realistic grass, but making us crawl through it for half the game is just torture. Maybe you should have spent time ironing out the mini bugs. I mean, does this look good? Does this look good? Okay, this is pretty, but how do you expect me to progress in the game when I would rather walk around admiring the landscape? Pretty dumb if you ask me, and don't get me started on the sound design. Some audio only plays through one headphone, which means if you have to remove one to tell your dad that you can't win this game, you can't hear the enemy creeping next to you winding up to slap your face off. And seriously, Take On Me? 2 million people think that Hurt by Johnny Cash would have suited Ellie better. Apparently your fan base knows your characters better than you.
The art of The Last of Us 2 is undeniably good. The lush and detailed landscape encourages you to explore your surroundings to the fullest. In conjunction with the intense gameplay, the environment envelops you in a dark and verdant yet familiar world. As for the sound design, Naughty Dog knocked it out of the park. The directional audio facilitates a feeling of dread when you hear a clicker to your left or a stair fight behind a wall yards away. It also adds a layer of depth by having enemies shout out the names of the fallen, creating a personal aspect to the bloodshed. I also can't help but shout out the musical choices, especially Aha's Take On Me, but I'm a bit of a sucker for 80s bops, so take that with a grain of salt. The folksy vibe given to the tracks acts to ground the hard and at times bleak narrative. For me, this was one of the few games where I searched out the soundtrack, and this is in the company of my all-time favorite game soundtrack, Fallout New Vegas. So take that as you may.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, you will learn how to make The Last of Us Part 2. First, you take a main character and immediately throw it in the garbage because we won't be needing that. Next, you take a sense of dread and spread it out all over the sheet. Great work! Now, sprinkle some emotional fatigue, revenge, and bad pacing. Then, top it off with a character no one asked to play. I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't we add fun since it was in the original recipe? No fun, you stupid gamer. If you want to hold hands and run around with your little buddies, go play Fortnite. Bake for 40 hours.
On the surface, The Last of Us 2 plays out like the tale The Heart of Darkness, forcing the player to acknowledge that they aren't as justified in their savagery as they believed. Many reviews have simplified the narrative with the phrase, revenge is bad, which is a moral we have already had beaten into us by so many other works of fiction. I felt something deeper beneath. Under this story of the damnation that is revenge, you can find themes of forgiveness and redemption. As Abby finds her peace in caring for someone rather than destroying or avenging, likewise, Ellie moves closer to peace through letting go of Joel and Abby on her own terms. While some have interpreted the end as something depressing, I couldn't help but feel hope as Ellie walks away scarred and never the same, but still alive to walk off into her sunset.
I have a list of demands for Naughty Dog. If you don't cooperate, we won't be playing your stupid games anymore. We want Joel back. Remove Abby, as well as Lev, from all upcoming installments. Give us back Joel. Fix Ellie, because you ruined her. And never make us hurt her again. And finally, bring Joel back to life. How could you kill him? You lied to him and let us just knock off Ellie. It's so I can't believe you would do this.
At the end of the day, I thoroughly enjoyed The Last of Us 2. Are there flaws? Of course. With a game this ambitious, it would be impossible not to have a few. I was fortunate to go into my playthrough with no spoilers. Aside from knowing that people were really angry, I really had no idea what to expect. Honestly, I had assumed Joel's death from the first trailer. And of course I was angry, but I also knew that that's how I was supposed to feel. I was surprised that this was one of the things that people were dragging the game through the mud for. For a tale of revenge to this magnitude, I could only see the foreshadowing of one character dying, Joel, the beloved protagonist of the first game. While I'm open to discussion and criticism, I truly believe this cascade of negativity toward this game was a result of the herd mentality and dogpiling our community is unfortunately subject to due to our deep connection to our favorite games and characters. With that being said, I hope people give this game the fair shot it deserves. I know I wasn't disappointed.
I'm gonna find. And I'm gonna kill.